We were their favorite. Aunt Carol was all about family. She was all about family. When we were growing up, we lived in St. Louis, and Carol and Ollie would always come, and I'm so glad you did, because we had this connection and this history with your daughters and our cousins that would not have been there had you not made the time to come to St. Louis. But it's very evident in Carol's study in genealogy. She's unveiled a lot of really interesting facts about our families. We won't go into that right now, but I just wanted to share one very endearing memory that I will take forever for me, and how I will always want to remember Aunt Carol. And that was when, Debbie, when you all visited in Chicago. It was the first time my sons, who are now 23 and 22, I think they were teenagers then, the first time they met your mom. She came with, a California hat and flowing clothes, very colorful, and I loved that about her. I loved that she just was herself, no matter what. But we have in our house, there's this long stairway that goes down into a finished basement, and we're all sitting down there. And here she comes, running down the steps, does a double or a triple somersault, and ends up in a hi-ya! My sons were like, she's 70 years old! I'm like, that's my Aunt Carol. And that's how I'm always going to remember her. So full of life, so energetic, and just so Aunt Carol. So, okay, your turn.
So she was the sister of our mother, 10 years younger than our mother. And when they would come to town, Uncle Ollie and Aunt Carol, it was always like this fresh energy of excitement. They took us to our first drive-in movie as young children. It was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original one. And it was the coolest thing. They bought us hot dogs and popcorn. It was just, remember that to this day. And it was just her energy and her positive spirit and just the excitement that both she and Uncle Ollie brought to our family. We were from a family of 9 kids, and they were always our outlet to get the heck out of the house and out of the chaos. So thank you very much. We've met, reunited with our cousins this trip, and now their children. It's very exciting to have this opportunity to do that with her family, extended family. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe and Chrissy.
I got to give Chrissy and Joe some props. But one thing I learned from all the genealogy study that Aunt Carol did was that I was the favorite. And I remember a lot of things. I remember when Aunt Carol and Uncle Ollie were going to school in St. Louis. I remember Aunt Carol put us on one of the old-fashioned buses, head down to Jewish Hospital off Kings Highway, and I remember helping Ollie and Aunt Carol move into their first apartment. And if my dad was here, he would say he remembers as well, because Uncle Ollie and my dad, they had a hell of a time trying to get a sleeper couch up 3 flights of steps. And they were both panting and red-faced from working hard. And as a kid, I couldn't repeat the words that they were using. But I was kind of the one that took a different road than most of them. You're told this is what you need to be, this is where you need to go. And when Aunt Carol and Uncle Ollie came back with their kids from Israel, they were in La Mesa, they were in Lancaster. And when I was at a time photographing landscapes, I would always make it a point to stop at Carol and Ollie's in Lancaster. And when I was back in St. Louis shortly after they got back and I was working, I could come up behind Aunt Carol, put my hands on her shoulders, across her eyes, and she'd feel my hands and she'd go, "Is this Ricky?" Every time I would say, "How do you know?" Because those are hands that work. They're not smooth, they're not soft. And the thing I especially started doing many years ago is even though we didn't talk, what we did was an expression of our love for each other and her kids, my cousins, and Uncle Ollie. And the thing that meant most to me on September 4th, I would always call it on his birthday. And about a week before, I'd start, oh good, I get to talk to Aunt Carol, I get to talk to Aunt Carol. Well, this year I found out she was 3 days short. And that kind of saddened me because I always loved calling her and telling her how much I loved her. And she was always cheerful. We always laughed when we were together. And she was my favorite aunt.
She knew.